For the past few years, Hyundai has been teasing an all-new pickup truck. It's the brand's first ever truck, and today I'm here in Tucson, Arizona to drive the all-new 2022 Tucson. But Hyundai also had a surprise for us because they've brought along a prototype version of the company's new pickup truck. This is the 2022 Hyundai Santa Cruz. It's actually based off of a similar platform as the new Tucson, and Hyundai doesn't want you to call this a truck. They want you to call it a sports adventure type vehicle. So let's take a first look. Now, over the last few years, the urban overlanding style vehicle has continued to grow in popularity, so it's no surprise to me that Hyundai would want to join in on this growing segment with its own type of vehicle. Now, I mentioned earlier they don't want you to call this a truck, even though it clearly has a bed on the back, but this is based off of the Hyundai Tucson platform, so it's the first time that we're seeing a car truck here in America. We haven't seen something like that since the Subaru Baja over 20 years ago. Now, looking at the front end of the new Santa Cruz, you can see it boldly wears the corporate design language that Hyundai introduced just fairly recently. It has a similar front fascia to the new Tucson. You can see you have their new bold Cascade waterfall style grille with their parametric dual LED daytime running lights. You can see the LED running lights are hidden in the actual grille elements. They don't actually appear until the running lights turn on. Down here you can see you have a separate housing for the LED low and high beams. You have an LED daytime running light and LED turn signal. And you can see Hyundai has included some more rugged styling elements here, some underbody cladding. There are some kind of silver trim here, although if you're looking for things like raised ground clearance, maybe some skid plates, it looks like this prototype model does not have that. Remember, this is supposed to be more of an urban type vehicle, kind of like a city truck. It's designed for buyers who didn't really think they would need a truck, but then once they get this vehicle, they kind of realize it really fits into your lifestyle quite well. Now, being based off of the Tucson platform, it does mean the Santa Cruz is considerably smaller than most of its compact to mid-sized truck rivals. This is kind of creating a new segment of trucks where this is smaller than those vehicles. At 195 inches long, it's around 10 to 15 inches shorter than something like a Toyota Tacoma, a Honda Ridgeline, a Nissan Frontier. So as you can see, this is definitely very compact size. Its wheelbase at around 118 inches long, again, is around 5 to 10 inches shorter than most of its competitors. Compared to the Tucson, this is a full 12 inches longer overall, which still makes it pretty manageable in size. So I think that a lot of buyers are going to be quite pleased with the overall dimensions of this truck. Now I want to talk about the wheel options. This one here has a very attractive set of 20-inch wheels, which kind of shares the geometric shapes that you find all over the side profile. You can see the tires are a very good size. They're wrapped in fat 245 by 50 width tires. These are obviously not designed for off-roading. This is going to be more of like a street truck. I'm kind of wondering if Hyundai is going to offer any kind of off-roading package. You can see there's a nice cladding here. There's a pretty cool detail here in the actual fender of the cladding right here, where it shows a little bit of like an Easter egg of the profile of the Santa Cruz. This is all becoming very popular in today's age. Jeep kind of started that trend. Ford's putting it in the Bronco, and you're finding some of this stuff, of course, on the new Santa Cruz. Now, the one thing I'm noticing, there are some pretty low profile roof rails here. However, I'm hoping that Hyundai will offer some kind of a roof rail crossbar system here where you can put maybe a tent, some kayaks here. It would really make this look a lot more rugged at the roof of this vehicle. You can see there's also a standard size sunroof. I'm not entirely sure Hyundai will offer a pano roof. I don't expect them to do so. And you can see you can only get it in one configuration, these 4 full-size doors. And in terms of the bed length is around 10 to 12 inches shorter than something like a Ridgeline. I think Hyundai said the total length was around 48 inches. So compared to the nearly 60 inches that you get on its competitors, this is again a much smaller bed. Now, looking at the rear of the truck, you can see very equally distinctive design. I love the kind of sideways T-shape for the taillights. These are kind of an incandescent design versus the full LEDs you get in the front. It gives this, again, a very bold look. I like how Hyundai is spelling out Santa Cruz. It's embroidered into the tailgate. You can actually see Hyundai embroidered into the actual door handle here. And then, of course, being that this is a truck, you're probably wondering, what is the bed like in terms of the usability? Now, I do like how the bumpers here have plenty of steps. There's also a step here to help you get into it. And the tailgate, when you open it up, you can see this prototype model is not damped, but Hyundai tells us that the actual production model will have a damped tailgate. And they also say that the rear window back there will also roll down on the production model. So that's something, again, that a lot of people are going to be looking for. Now, in terms of the bed, it is pretty well finished. You can see it's kind of lined with a composite material to help prevent, scuffs and scrapes, because Hyundai anticipates you're going to be putting a lot of, outdoorsy kind of stuff here, maybe doing some yard work around your house. There's also this really nice sliding cover that's included on this prototype model, which is nice if you guys need to actually cover up your stuff in here. And as you can see, the bed is pretty small by pickup truck standards. Hyundai doesn't expect real truck buyers to actually use this in the way that a truck buyer would, which is why it's a little bit smaller. It makes it easier to use. Hyundai says the payload capacity is around 700 pounds. So again, pretty usable, but about half what you're going to find in something like a competitor like a Honda Ridgeline. Now, just like a Honda Ridgeline, there is a pretty neat, nifty little storage underneath the bed here, which is great. It is also, there's also a built-in drain here, so you can kind of use this as a cooler. I am noticing it is pretty shallow in terms of the size. The Ridgeline has a much deeper well, but that's also a much bigger truck. You can see this is also held up with struts, but I like this feature here. This is something that I think a lot of people who don't typically drive trucks are gonna like, because you can put groceries in there, you can hide your stuff, and you can see the bed is pretty lightweight as well. I'm looking forward to seeing the full production of this truck, because I want to see all the features. And Hyundai tells us that they're still making a couple of small corrections here, because this is a very early prototype model. Now let's check out the interior of the 2022 Santa Cruz. Now, if you guys have been inside the new Tucson, which I'm actually filming today as well, this interior looks very familiar. The dashboard design is completely identical. You can see all the models Hyundai says will come standard with the 10.25-inch digital instrument panel here, and then the standard head unit will be an 8-inch touchscreen with wireless CarPlay and Android Auto. If you go for the higher trims like this one, you're going to get the 10.25-inch display, which does not have wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. You actually have to use a wired connection. But again, it is definitely very impressive for the segment. In terms of materials, this is a very early production model. So you have a soft touch material here, soft touch material here. This is soft touch. I like the overall look in here. I kind of wish that Hyundai had made it look a little more distinctive versus the Tucson, but I can see they're kind of keeping it at a price point here. The seats, you can see these are a full leather seat. They are just heated. I don't believe Hyundai will offer a cooled seat. You do get things like dual zone climate control. You have a traditional shifter here, which is nice, because in the Tucson, they give us that push button transmission selector. In the truck, Hyundai kind of assumed that buyers would want, again, a real shifter, which is definitely nice. When I put the vehicle into reverse, the backup camera sadly is not working on this early prototype model. And again, I will show you guys kind of how this works in the Tucson. It's a pretty similar infotainment layout. Now, in terms of the safety tech, Hyundai says that there's Hyundai Safety Sense automatic emergency braking, lane keep assist, lane departure alert. That'll be standard. If you want things like adaptive cruise control, highway driving assist, that will be optional if you guys go for the higher trims. Now, of course, this only comes in 4 full-size doors. So let's hop into the back seat here and see what the space is like. Now, this driver's seat, I had it pretty far back. This is not where I would probably have it to drive, but at 5'7", you can see the legroom is pretty good. Now, Hyundai didn't have official numbers for us just yet, but it does feel smaller back here versus the Tucson. I'd probably say maybe a couple inches or so less legroom, but it's still very usable. This is what you expect to find in the mid-size truck segment. This actually feels about the same spaciousness as a Toyota Tacoma and a Nissan Frontier. The Ridgeline definitely has more space. So overall, it's still very usable. You have features where the seats will fold up, of course, to reveal storage underneath here. Surprisingly, there's no armrest here, but again, Hyundai is still making tweaks because this is a very early prototype model. Now, most pickup trucks have nifty little underseat storage, and the Santa Cruz is no exception. You can see when you lift up the seat backs, there's a pretty big bin back here where you can kind of hide stuff. It's a relatively good size, although I'm not seeing any kind of lockable storage. Maybe Hyundai will make that change for the full production model. Now, Hyundai says this all-new Santa Cruz will be going on sale later this summer. You can actually go to Hyundai's website at the end of this month and put down a reservation to actually put your name on the list to get this truck. And they haven't announced pricing just yet for the new Santa Cruz. I'm going to estimate it's going to start in the mid to low $20,000 range. Remember, this is going to slot below cars like the Tacoma and the Ridgeline. This is going to compete head-on with Ford's new Maverick, which is again a subcompact pickup truck, which will be based off of the Ford Bronco. But as you can see, I'm really a big fan of the styling of this vehicle. I love this color that Hyundai is showing the truck, and I think it's a very attractive looking option, especially for somebody who has never really had a pickup truck, but it has never realized that they needed one. I love this storage. I love the 2.5-liter turbo in Hyundai's other products, so I should be able to drive this vehicle in the next coming months. But again, Hyundai hasn't announced final pricing just yet, but just know that head over to Hyundai's website and you'll be able to put a reservation out if you guys want to be one of the first ones to get your hands on this vehicle. But with all that said, I hope you guys have enjoyed my first look overview of the 2022 Hyundai Santa Cruz. If you're also looking to see the latest cars I'm testing, be sure to follow me on Instagram at redline_reviews. Like us on Facebook, and as always, guys, please keep subscribing to the Redline Reviews YouTube channel for all the latest reviews. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you all in the next video.